Tahoe Fire OG.
All right, guys, welcome to Science Sundays. It's 4 o'clock on the East Coast. It's I don't know what time on the West, 1 o'clock maybe.
That'd be
Uh,
4 o'clock here.
Thanks for tuning in. Have Marduber or Lefty with us today. Science Sundays as the science community, and I'd like to welcome UCG, Green Diamonds, and Jeep to the show. Welcome,
Yeah,
guys.
man. Yeah, yeah.
No worries.
What's up? What's up, YouTube?
So we've been talking about drying. We've been talking about having different strains to smoke so that you don't get so you can still get that medication that you need. So what's everybody smoking on today?
We like variety is the spice of life. Is my motto. Grow.
Yeah, that's another reason I started growing my own was because I just wanted to have some variety.
Exactly. Yeah. Uh, Today I am smoking on the last of my locomotion from the last harvest, and starting on some really fresh Blue Dream. Like it just made it to the jar a few days ago, but it's really good even for brand new. So, and it's really good with a mixed with the locomotion. Great flavor and effect.
Yeah, that
So
locomotion is a really
Awesome.
interesting sounding strain for sure. I got some Mendo dope seeds that I want to.
that yeah, that loco, it is overwhelmingly citrus zest, like orange zest.
Nice.
It's really strong. At times, it doesn't even smell like weed. Really, it's crazy
Right.
and very
Oh,
oily.
oh,
Oh,
I
really?
love fruity
It's very
smell.
oily when it's growing. It's completely triked out, but on a couple occasions, I kind of bumped into it. One in particular that I remember, I bumped into one, and with my thumbnail, it's kind of hit the side of the bud, and I caught a glare from the light, and it was just like a smudge of oil on my thumbnail from hitting that bud.
That's what my sour diesel does too. It makes
Yeah,
it literally will make the ends of your fingers if you touch those buds. Like sometimes I'll check density on the really low ones just to see kind
right.
of what they're doing. And
Hmm.
pull your fingers back and they'll just be like wet with like just slip
Yep.
it on. It's
That's
really
how that's how this is. It's like if you touch the buds, at first it's a thick oily, and then it gets sticky
right,
and
right.
reeks. Oh wow, yeah, it's a filter buster for sure.
Well, we got these, fruity everything. We're running fruity everything, and we got this. And you'd think purple berry kush. As soon as you hear
Right.
purple berry kush, you think sweet berry. This thing smells like, oh my god, garlic.
Oh wow.
And it's I that well, we pulled that freaking in third week of flower. We didn't have any, I didn't veg it. I didn't take a clone before we flipped them because I'm like, it's okay. It wasn't really impressive, and now it's at flower and it's gotten stupid, and we're like, wait a minute. So I went and took a little tiny shoot from down low inside. It
Mm.
wasn't any bigger than probably the ink cartridge on a pen. It was just this little tiny skinny nothing that had this little bud on the top of it. And I cut that thing and we threw it in the aquaponics cloner that we have, the aeroponics cloner,
Hmm.
and not aquaponics, but the aeroponics. And 5 days we had roots.
Oh
5
wow.
days
Yeah.
on a flowering freaking stem. In five
Yeah.
days, we had roots. I was like, what?
I took when I took that. I was already several. Hell, about 10 days or better, and they had buttons on those Malibu. This latest run of Malibu, and I decided to that I wanted a cut of the number two as well, because after it started to stretch, it began to really branch out from the bottom, and so that was two that actually had branches. So I thought, fuck, I better go and get me a cut while it's still early. And that turned out to be the fastest I've ever had roots, and it was 6 days. And not just one little root. I mean, it had some damn roots.
Right.
There
Ours
you
too. I can't
go.
even believe it. It's nuts.
After doing that, I posted it on Instagram, and I got some feedback and that I really hadn't thought of. And but it makes sense that it's got something to do with the hormones, being that it was still basically in transition. The
Right, because
hormones,
it's doing that stretch, right? Because it's trying to grow.
Yeah, and so that aids in rooting so fast. You know, it makes good sense.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, we get good results. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
roots of that length in that short amount of time, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Might start doing it again just to see, just test it. I was talking to Apprentice earlier about I'd love for us all to do within the team, within the group, to get seeds of all the same strain and everybody soak them on the same day and run them through the various types of grows that we run them through. So whatever you do, run it through your system. I'll run it through my system. Mark will run it through his. Apprentice through his. Everybody run, start documenting some of these results with pictures and everything, and see, you know, what we can all do with the same strain in the environment in which we grow.
Oh yeah.
See how it compares. I think that'd be cool.
They
and I think, and that's gonna come to fruition very soon because we're all getting the same strains. You know what I'm saying? We all actually have some of the same strains now. It's just a few more members have to get those certain strains, and we'll all be doing it anyway. So it's only going to be a matter of time.
Well, I was thinking it's in a matter of
like a plan.
I don't know if anybody's plan. Like I don't think anybody's documenting. Okay, they popped and they were up at this day.
Right.
And at week 1, this was their height, this was their width, this is what they're feeding them, this is their light schedule, so on. And do it however you do it. If you do your seedlings 4/7 with light, give them that. Don't deviate and just do your thing. And let's see what kind of results we get as a comparison.
Exactly.
They did the same thing on GrowTube, a couple years ago with that, or last year maybe, with the dark plasma. And I think Grow Mouse lost all of his, and it was varying results.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a bunch of a cross that we have that we could do. It's a White Widow cross, and I think most everybody likes White Widow anyway. So
I don't know anybody.
Is it the White Widow Medi cross?
It's a White Widow and Orange Crush cross that we have.
Oh no! Oh snap!
That sounds good.
You saw the pictures. I put pictures on Instagram of it. It looked like one big bud. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So I've got a bunch of those. So I mean, I could literally send, get 10 out to everybody and just, run 5 at a time and see what happens.
If you would like to, I am game.
I'm
totally
down.
game.
We'll just have to make some coordination, make sure everybody's got room at the same time. And it'll take a little bit of coordination on that respect, but I think that would be awesome. I'm absolutely down for just running a comparison, see what you get as far as male to female ratios, see what you get as far as any of that stuff.
For me, it would have to be maybe a 2-plant limit and like mixed in whatever I've got on my schedule.
Right.
I try to pop seed.
We'll just buy another 10.
That's what I was thinking. Just like do 5. Everybody do 5 on the same day. Everybody, whatever technique you use to germinate on this day, you start it.
Right.
Whether you soak seeds or whether you don't or whatever you do, put them in there and start documenting the information and just see how they go. Room temperatures, because those are the things that are going to play into how well the plant does. We'll all veg them for the same length of time, whatever that is, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever we all decide. And then everybody flips them at the same time, and then they go from there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to welcome Fumador and your boy Roy Boy to the show. They're in chat.
Oh, cool.
I want to say cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in.
Fumador El Chibador. Grammars is Fumador.
El Fumador. Yeah, and we're about to be smoking some bongs here, guys, and I just found a surprise seed in my bag. So
Roy as well. Your boy always got some really good, interesting photos on Instagram. do.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
So Jeep, what you talking on, brother? You talking today?
No, unfortunately, I can't.
Oh, that's too bad, man. Can't wait till you can,
Not for
though.
another couple weeks.
But we appreciate you being here, even though you can't partake.
That's right.
So with that
We certainly
comparison
appreciate you being
stuff,
here and being back.
the Vault does a similar comparison with Mastifos or whatever his name is, genetics.
Mephistos, yeah.
Yeah. They do the like 2 or 3 comparisons a year with that, and
Nice.
you know, it works out really well. You get feedback across the board, how they
Never
grow,
really
how they
things,
tolerate different
I've had a
environments
few
and stuff.
friends
Oh,
that
cool.
had really great success with Mephisto.
Now, do they run them all different styles, or are they all the same style?
They're all different
I
styles.
certainly can't hear. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, brother.
They're not. Yeah, they don't drop them all on the same day, like you were talking about. But everybody runs them in their own system, so there's a lot of different variables that are tested across the board. They
Right.
run it for the comparison for 6 to 8 months or so, just so people that get back late or whatever, like I just got in on the last one. I got the seeds 3 months ago and still haven't dropped them,
Right.
but I'm still part of the comparison.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. I like to have that metric, that data. I like to compare my style to another style, just for nothing better than just to try and come up with a better plan, some way to
I love the idea of that
maximize
side by side daily data.
Oh yeah, anytime.
So yeah, and then you can test the speed and everything else that each system provides.
Correct. Exactly. All of our feedings are on the same schedule. We got everything, all that documented. So we're going to run them in that same environment. Period. We're just trying to lock down our veggies right now because we're just, it's horrible. It's freaking horrible. I mean, having a bunch of plants that are healthy.
I can't hear anybody.
Just
I don't
managing it's crazy.
You guys can hear me.
We can hear you, UCG.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I'm not sure why you can't hear anyone, but you should be able to.
Now it just came back.
Okay. We got you.
We're good.
It just it went out a while ago, but it came back as well. But oh well. It's probably just my connection. In fact, my Wi-Fi connection is down to 2 bars. But it varies anyway.
So your boy Roy Boy says he's designing his new grow. He was moving all week. So hey Roy Boy, what's the new system gonna be, brother? Can you chime in with us or
missing all the good shit?
It's in the chat.
What's it gonna be? Yeah, that's a good question.
Hey, I'm gonna drop out and come back in if you guys can hear me.
Go ahead, brother. We'll be here.
You go.
So diamonds.
Yes, sir.
Your system for drying right now. Can you tell us a little bit about what your system is and how you regulate your environment for your drying?
Well, we're just now trying to get that part of it developed. That was the reason I wanted to have the discussion and just to get it's always looking for that. Currently, right now, I have a room that's a dedicated room for drying, and we put in a charcoal filter 4-inch exhaust.
Man, I guess I'm gonna try it on my phone because I can't hear anything.
Okay.
Damn it.
So we got that done. That's all installed. It runs great. We used it on the last drying. We just installed some circulation fan. We installed a circulation fan today, just kind of move some air in that room. And I can keep the relative humidity at about 60% or so. And temperature-wise, I can keep it right around 78 degrees, 75 degrees if I want. So I think we've got it done. We're just going to have to run some stuff through it to see how it finishes. Everybody that's had and sampled some of the stuff that we've produced that has come out of that room says it needs to go just a little longer. We were going about 8 days, so we're going to push that out to about 10 to 12 days and see what that does on the dry. So we'll just let it dry a couple of days longer.
I was wondering if you thought about maybe dropping your humidity a little bit, maybe to like 55%.
Well, in the environment that it's in, where it's at, it's a little difficult to get down to that. I can get it down to that, but it doesn't stay there. It fluctuates for me. Now, we haven't put a lot of product in there. You know, you're talking about 1%. So there's really not been a lot for it to work with. So we'll make some adjustments here and there and, you know, see how that works it. But 10 days dry is not, I don't think it's going to be too bad. We got good airflow. There's no issues with mold or anything like that. So I think 10 to 12 should really be good. The stuff that Duber got was like 8 days, 7 or 8 days. So it was really short, but I didn't want it to get out to them and be too messed up as far as too dry. I'd rather them kind of finish it the way they wanted it to see what they thought of the product and then give me that feedback as far as the amount of drying that it had. I'm just trying to get that down.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, and you know, I've been teaching myself that part of my process is the drying and the curing. It's not just about being dried, but you know, curing it for that couple of weeks and burping it once a day and things like that. So that
you can grow great stuff. You don't let it dry and cure right, or at least let it dry right.
Right.
And you're
exactly.
Why mess it up? So that's why
why mess it up.
That's why we're trying to get a room put together for just that. You
know, I've kind of changed my deal a little bit. I mean, I still hang for 7 to 10 days, but then at the point that I can just gently roll the bud, like the smallest bud on the branch, backwards, and it just pops off. To me, that's when I'll put it in the jar, but with a 49% Bavita pack, or the other one if that's what you prefer, and burp it once a day, and then for a week, and then after that I seal the motherfucker up. I don't touch it, and then I can come back in 3 weeks later and it's got the richest smell. I mean, the terps are crawling out the jar, you know. I mean, it's great. And it's got a nice cure. Someone called that the Kyle Cushman method. I've never heard that, but apparently that's what it is.
Well, it's probably because he's the first one that told everybody about it, but it's not that it was, you know.
It might have been.
All these different techniques that people get credit for, they didn't come up with that stuff. Somebody before them did. You know, I hate to, you know, we single out individuals. There's a lot of people out there that do a lot of stuff that nobody's ever heard of. I think we were talking about that the other day. You know, there's guys out there that nobody's ever heard of that are probably growing some of just ridiculously amazing stuff. You know. And then back to the question, what leads us all to be on Instagram? You know, what was our drive to be out there for people to see what we're doing? Were we looking for help, or you know, what were the reasons?
Yeah,
I often wonder that.
So what do you feel like your reason is? Looking for help, or is it to help others?
Probably both. Looking, you know, we've talked about this many times, having a collective that you can talk to when you're having a struggle. You know, there's a lot of guys that didn't have that opportunity that we're getting right now, and there's a lot of, it's just so beneficial. So I was looking for help, obviously, but then I think some affirmation of that maybe I'm doing it right a little bit.
There is.
There you go.
Personally,
because if you're not,
for me personally, it's you know, I went for so long and I couldn't tell or show anybody anything about my grow, and so I needed that. You know, I'm like, you know, I know the weed's good, but what, you know, let's see what other people think. And you know, anytime you got, I don't think there's anything wrong with being proud of a nice looking grow, you know, and everything on point. And that's what I get out of Instagram. If I take a nice looking picture and it's just really a good pic, I like it. I feel like everybody else might like it, so I throw it out there for them. And so far, everybody seems to like it. The same reason on Instagram with my weed. and my growth is the same reason that I get on Instagram to look at other people's.
Right.
And I don't compare mine to theirs or vice versa. I just like to see good looking cannabis. And that's a good place to go.
I try to look at it as a resume.
Yeah, it is. It can be. Very much so. It can be. Yeah. That's for me. That's my Instagram. The reason. The same reason I put on anything on Instagram basically is the same reason that I go and look on Instagram at other fine grade cannabis. It's like you said a while ago, it's a beautiful plant, and I like to look at it.
Right. Agreed. And
I'm always interested. I always like to see other people's setup. You find some very ingenious things hidden in some of those pictures on Instagram. Some of the things that people have rigged up and innovated this or that. It's very interesting.
I like the DIY side of it too. I like to just
just like your
normal stuff, and they go, wow.
Just like I noticed through pictures the innovation of yours with the low stress training and those little pull straps. I thought that was pretty genius.
It just, it works. I needed to be able to move ties here and there, and it just gave me the ability to change the stresses on the plant quickly.
Right.
So we designed that, and then of course working on the process of designing another piece so that I don't have to use netting. The netting to me is so restrictive because of the way that we do the deep water culture, individual reses. A net is, I'm not going to work with a vacuum, a shop vac and a water pump. I can't do that. I want to give, minutes every week and just do my thing. So I had to design it so they could take care of themselves, so they can support themselves all within a single environment.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea, man. What you've got going on, the way you support your plants and those 5-gallon buckets and your deep water culture system, man, you've definitely narrowing it down to where it's almost a science to you.
Right. That was kind of my goal.
Hell yeah.
Guys, I got to step away for just a second. I'll be right back.
Sure, go ahead. So Jeep, what is your system and how do you run? Do you run soil? Do you run soilless, or do you run a different medium, or do you DWC, or?
I'm cocoa across the board. I do veg, flower, everything's cocoa. I used to do 50-50 with perlite. I've gotten away from that now, so everything new is all just straight cocoa. Depends on the veg time for like pot size and everything, but I veg under 600 watt metal halide and then flower under the 1000 watt DE.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And my dry room is usually about 65 with between 60 and 65% humidity.
Right.
So a little bit lower temperature, but the humidity right about at the same. So now, do you have a big fan blowing across yours? Because I see your harvest is pretty nice.
No,
pictures
it's on the other half of my room, so it's like where all my storage and stuff is also.
Oh, okay.
I have a fairly decent sized fan just circulating air in the room because that's what is being sucked into both the veg and flower rooms. But besides that, I don't have a fan like under them or anything. Just that small circulation. My extract.
They're getting lots of air regardless, though.
Yeah.
Right. I think both of ours got a lot of air movement. I think that's probably key to being up there in that little higher humidity, is just as long as the air is moving and things don't get stagnant in that humidity, I think you're good.
I think you're absolutely right there.
I try to bump it down to the 50-55 range the last couple days,
right?
Before I go into the jars. But I really haven't noticed a difference with keeping it at, 60 the whole way. I run the 62% Integras in my jars too, so
Okay.
about where they sit at all the time.
See, not to interrupt you, but the first time that I bought any of the packs, the humidity packs, that's what I got was the 62, and I put it, and I thought, damn, I need that because I had some weed that had really gotten way too dry on me, and I put it in there, and the next day that shit was almost too wet to burn. I mean, it would burn, but it started wanting to run real bad and this and that, and so that's why I dropped. Then I went to the 58s. That was better, and I went from those to the 49s, and that's what I like. That's where I'm at with it.
I use the 58s in like the jars that my wife uses and stuff like that. But for my storage ones where they're just curing in the dark, I just keep the 62s in there. Everything seems to cure nicely.
Yep.
But yeah, they are a little on the damp side to just spark right up.
Now, is that long-term storage? Are you talking, more than a couple of weeks? Are you talking like what, 3-4 weeks, or like a month and a half?
Sitting in the jar for 8 months now.
Right.
Nice.
Yep.
And it's still good. Like it's still like you want it.
Yeah.
It's
fresh as it was when I put it in there.
I've got 2 jars of Master Kush from the last harvest, and they got one of the 58 in each one of them, and that shit feels just like it's. I won't say feels like it did when it come off, but it's a real nice feel and a cure to it, and it burns great right out the jar. And I feel like otherwise it would be probably brittle by now without that pack in there. And I don't think it would have kept its color either.
Yeah, that's what I noticed was when I started running the lower humidity ones, the color didn't stay.
Right. Agreed.
When you get a 6 to 8 month cure
Yeah.
on them, they all kind of faded a little bit, and they dry up a lot faster when you take them out of the jar. These, I have to leave the jar open for a couple days just to get them to kind of crisp up where you can smoke them right away,
Yep.
That's pretty good though. I mean, if you're able to store that stuff for 8 months in a jar with basically a Bovita pack, that's nice. I'm liking that.
They're worth their money. I get the 10 pack for I think it's $14 from Amazon.
Now, how much of a or let me ask you this: how big of a container are you talking about? You talking about a pint jar, a quart jar, a half-gallon, gallon jar?
Me personally, I have from quart size up to a 2.5 gallon jar, and I'm switching everything over to the 2.5 gallon jars. So I run the where are they 8 gram, 16 gram, I think, or something. I don't know. I'll pull one out and look.
Yeah, I think mine are 8 grams. Let me look.
Oh, these are 67 gram. Rather large.
For your 2.5 gallon jar?
Yeah, they're good for an ounce to a pound to maintain humidity.
Nice.
$8 gram. Yeah, this is what mine are. Yeah, but they're like 2-inch squares. But they will. One of them will keep a half-gallon jar. That's the biggest jars I have. I've got pint, half pint, all the way up to half-gallon jars, and I can put a pack in either jar, and it works great. I've really not been using them, but probably a year now. I used to would cram a leaf down in my jar if I went to look at it and the shit was brittle. I would just stick a leaf in the top of it and close it back up till the next day, and then come and take it back out, and the shit was good for a while.
have you used Integra at all, or just Bovita?
So far, the only ones I've tried are the Vita.
Hey, Cali Med Grower, thanks for joining us. Cali Medical Grower is watching.
Another Flood and Drain Club member.
Another Flood and Drain Club. Sweet.
Club member, yeah, Cali Medical.
Sweet.
His Flood and Drain tray was probably the inspiration for mine. One of the inspirations for mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad he's watched it. I hope he heard that.
We chat back and forth on IG.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Cali Medical Grower is a hell of a grower.
That's a hell of a shout out too, man. I'm about to throw him a wrench here in a second if I can remember how. There we go. I think you should have a wrench now. Try that, Cali Medical Grower. He said, thanks for the kind words. We're glad to have you, man. Thanks for watching. We're talking drying and storing today.
Yes, I like to give credit where credit is due. So, as I am cutting this plant, I'm one of these who I like to cut the branches off, come back later and buck them. And so as I'm cutting these branches off, I noticed that I probably should have went through one more time and got like right around the main stem is a bunch of large little like popcorn. They're all nice, dense, solid rocks, but way more of them than I like to see, and that is just from my lack of maintenance. To be honest,
what would you have done differently?
I would have paid better attention and clipped those off, probably resulting in somewhat larger buds up top.
We only have one trailer now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is, like I say, this is the first time growing this particular strain. And another thing that I have learned right away is she can sure eat more than what I gave her. So the next round will be, I will up her newts quite a bit. She seems to be quite resilient.
So that was a real good test for you then.
Oh,
because now
absolutely.
you can really push her.
Oh yeah. You know, that's where we take notes. You know. I don't know. I don't know if I will take any more clones of the other two that I have because, like I say, this particular strain has lacks vigor. At least my example of it lacks vigor. Now, and this was from seed. Now, the clones may do better, but they too are quite slow, or they have been slow.
Slow growing?
Yeah, they're not. They don't grow up very fast. They only push out from the bottom, and it seems to do. It seems to do all of its vertical growing on the stretch.
Now, are you topping those or anything?
Somebody needs to mute out there. I will. You know, I have once, but I will again.
You want me to mute myself?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who it. I don't know. It's gone now. But yeah, on the next round, I've already topped these clones once, and but I probably will end up doing it again. The one I'm going to flip next, I don't know. I may just do them both and just get rid of it because, like I say, I don't want to use the real estate in the flood tray for something that just drags ass, you know. It needs to be able to keep up with everything else.
Did we lose Jeep? No, he just muted himself. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. No. I was just checking.
But anyway, enough about my plant. Almost got a big tray full here. I've cut about of it off. It's going to be one thing about this that I do like about this particular strain is the calyx ratio is nil. There's very little leaf on it. It's all bud practically. There's just a few big fan leaves that I'm going to take off, and other than that, it'll be a cinch to trim after it's dry. This would be a perfect strain for a trimmer, one of those mechanical trimmers, or like the band and the drum type.
Don't they steal all your trichomes and shit though? I mean, you're running this shit through a machine.
Set them up right, and depending on what kind of pot you put in them, I think it just the one that Loki Grove, shout out to him. The one that he was showing the other day is called the Triminator, and it is a band. There is no blades. It's a drum that sits on an angle horizontally, and you put your product in there, and there are these slits or openings. I'm gonna say maybe a quarter of an inch by an inch and a half, and there is a band that has those same kind of opening pattern on it that hugs this thing, and you can adjust the tension, and as it spins and tumbles your bud, the leaves, the tips of the leaves that need to be trimmed off go down in between those two openings, and it just shears it right off, and it mulches your the trim, catches it in the tray in the bottom. The buds come out nice and clean and still got the trichomes. You're just knocking off anything that sticks out far enough to go through that opening. He showed after he run I don't know, probably a half a pound through it. He run it for just a few minutes, and it looked great. It looked really good. But I think that small unit was about $1,500, maybe a little more.
No, thank you.
Right. But if you're somebody that's moving a lot of product that needs to be trimmed at one time, that thing would pay for itself right quick when you figure on an average to pay a good trimmer is about $200 a pound. So how quick is that going to pay for itself? Maybe one or two harvests.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, sure.
So
I'm not gonna.
It's all about how much you want to lay out front.
I'll save my money and hand trim mine though. I think it turns out looking nicer when you hand trim.
I don't mind trimming. I've never minded trimming. It's something that I just plan to do, and I sit down and do it.
Yep.
I like to play with my weed anyway, and that's just another opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know why people call it trim gel, because I enjoy it. It's it's relaxing. You're touching your buds. You're looking at each one. Like, you can name the sons of bitches if you want to.
I can relate to the trim gel because it's something that you really have to commit to, and you're gonna have to sit that. For me personally, I go, okay, I'm gonna be cooped up in trim gel tonight, and that's I won't do anything else until I'm done, and then I'm out of so to speak. I'll be right back.
Cali Medgrow said the was $2,500. But still, I mean, if you're having to move a lot of product, then it would pay for itself on a short order. I just haven't had a need for one yet. Haven't been that lucky.
I think
sorry.
hand trimming
Quiet.
I think hand trimming also adds a level of quality control. Also, like you actually get in there and see what your buds are looking like. Make sure you don't have mold in them or anything like that. You know,
Right.
you just throw them in a trimmer. You don't know what you're putting out.
No, I agree. We like the hand trim. It just gives us again the ability to really kind of eyeball it and really look and see what the structure of it looks like. Could it be a little better? What the densities are?
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of little things you can get just hand trim.
No, and you're absolutely right. When you're touching everyone and looking at everyone and taking those sugar leaves off, you know exactly what is on in that bud. Like you could name each one if you wanted to.
Yep.
And you can sort them out too by size. I mean, you can put your smaller ones in this jar for smoking, and okay, I'm gonna keep all these ones for later for this party, or for
Sure.
this is for my buddy, or this is for so and so, or you know what I'm saying. So that yeah, I prefer hand trimming. I've never had any kind of other than help trimming any kind of trimmer. I don't think I would.
That and those drying machines. I don't know that I want to do that either.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would dry mine like that. I prefer to just hang it and let the fan blow over it. Put it. Try to keep it in a dark spot. And keep the air moving. So is it time for a sesh, guys? Because I'm about to pack this here bong and take a rip onto her. Sorry you can't join us there, Jeep, but I know Green Diamonds can and UCG can when he steps back into the picture. So,
You got it.
and anybody out there that's got anything to smoke on, pack it up, roll it up, dab it up, whatever you got, guys.
I tell you, I got Stone Ninja stoned yesterday.
You got Stone Ninja stoned?
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I bet he likes you now, don't he?
Oh yeah, he's cool. He's always been cool.
Yeah, I saw he did that unboxing on his Twitch feed.
Did you see it?
Pretty good, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Did you send him a care package?
Yeah, I sent him something. I just, he's
Awesome.
Yeah. He's a cool dude. I got a lot of respect for what he puts together, and he grows, and the time he puts into it, and the dedication to it. So, I value his opinion in this particular realm. And I said, hey, so he was open to me doing that, send him something, so I did, and he unboxed it right on Twitch and talked about it, and everybody's had the same response. And that's again why I was prompted for the discussion about the drying portion of it. Was everybody said it needed to go a little bit longer as far as on the dry, and I agreed. I just need somebody to validate that opinion, I guess, and get a comparison. So he's let it dry over a few days, and he had it again yesterday. Yesterday is all he had was the sour diesel that I grew and the Granddaddy Purple that I grew, and yeah, he was feeling pretty good at the end of it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's got to make you proud.
Yep. Oh, I got Wookie after one bomb rip. He was.
There you go. Those guys, and dude, they smoke fire all the time. Like they smoke and grow and smoke their own fire all the time. So I mean, for them to smoke their shit and get wrecked, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he had one rip off the Granddaddy Purple. I talked to him the next day, and he said he's gonna have a rip of that before he smoked some of that skunk beard that he brought, and he hit that. And he did it on the feed. He's sitting there, and when he walked off camera. Then he came back and sat down. And I know all of us have been to that point. We cross our arms, we're sitting there, we're trying to keep, because everything starts to get heavy. And you go, oh shit. And then he told me, he's like, yeah, I kind of regretted doing that because then he couldn't really smoke any of his that Ninja had just rolled up. He's too high. So yeah, I was pretty proud of that. It's like cooking a good meal. You know, it's like making a good dinner for somebody. That's how I see it. It's just like an 18-week meal. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, good things come to those who wait, right?
Agreed. Yeah, it's like I posted on Instagram. You know, I asked God to give me for patience, and He gave me cannabis to grow.
Speaking of patience, that's one thing that growing has taught me is patience. And because I'll tell you, like 60 days to me anymore ain't shit. That's not a long time. Because you know you're just so used to it, and when you live by the calendar, 60 and 65 days at a time, you know. I think a grower's life goes fast. Mine does. You know, before I know it, I've got another harvest coming off.
That's what's nice about that perpetual is constantly having your own really good medication. That's, you know, it's never the same thing twice. You can switch it up every hour if you want to find the right one for you that day.
Sometimes I do. I usually check it out. I'll start my day, well, most of the time the night before. I'll roll up 4 or 5, and they're generally mixed. You know, if I've got that many on hand, that many different flavors on hand, I'll either mix 2 in each joint, or I'll roll 1 of each. And by the time I come home, they're all burned to some degree. You know, I like different flavors.
Yeah.
I like to switch up variety. My whole thing.
Marduber isn't with us today, American One. He is setting up a new TIE fighter in a new location.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, if you joined us late. I forgot to tell you that Marduber and Lefty weren't joining us today. I was just looking in on chat. Yeah, I really apologize, guys, if you're hopping in late. But Marduber and Lefty are setting up the new TIE fighter so that that stays rocking and rolling. Priorities, guys. And we're filling in on Science Sunday in the channel, and we're glad that you guys showed up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we wouldn't have not done it. Yeah, I appreciate the time being here and everything. And on that note, I do hate to cut it short. It's getting late here for me, so I'm gonna have to jump off, and we've got company over. So I'm definitely catch up with you guys later.
Okay, man. I'm glad you hung out with us, Diamond. Have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Take it easy, man.
Being in chat, you guys, I'll catch up with you for sure.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Diamonds.
Peace.
Yeah. I'm down with making it just a 1-hour show today, Prentice, if that's cool with you. I do have things I want to get done. My lights will be out in 30 minutes. Well, you know, at 5:30, and so I need to get a couple of more things done. But yeah, I'm glad we were able to put it together. Better late than never, right?
That's right. Better late than never. And now, you know, it's good that we can still all come together as a community and do Science Sunday, even though Marduber and Lefty and those guys were busy. And that's what the community is about, because we're here to all learn and grow together. And I appreciate that UCG and Green Diamonds and Jeep and everybody that's in chat showed up today, because I really hadn't planned on hosting, and then last minute, you know what, let's do this. I'm going to pick up the slack here and at least do an hour for you guys.
Yeah, I was prepared to try this. I just needed somebody to walk me through it. But yeah, and it was good to have a special guest, Jeep Toker, on with us and get to hang out with us. I know he's glad to be home and get things. Oh, and one thing I wanted to ask you, Jeep, on your reset, what's your plans as far as what you're going to run?
My bedroom's full of the surf perp still. I got 3 phenos, so that's what's going into the flower room. But I just dropped Ninja Smash and BTY OG times Spartan Kush. So that'll be the next rotation going through. And I'm thinking about starting up some Bewitch.
Cool deal, man. Sounds like a nice, flavorful menu there.
Yeah, it's time to get some new stuff rolling through.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've got some more cowbell I just popped and XJ13, 2 that I've never run. I've never run either one of those, or from the breeder from either breeder, and so I'm excited about those. See what it'll be several months before we see any fruit off of those, but that's the newest thing in the garden.
I believe my newest thing in the garden, boys, would be the Tutankhamun, the Big Bomb, and the Jilly Bean.
Nice.
Well, it's time for shout outs.
Yes, it is. What do you got for us today, Undercover?
The usual T&B Naturals, and you guys, Marduber, Lefty, the whole Hangouts gang, and just all the cool people in the cannabis community. How about that? Just a shout out to everybody. Everybody in the chat that was came over and hung out with us, and yeah, shout out to all you guys as well. That's what I got.
Thank you, brother. I want to tell everybody to tune in tomorrow for Marduber Mondays. I'm sure Marduber is going to try to make Marduber Mondays. I doubt that he's going to miss. He did say he was, in his last update, he did say that he was going to keep going and keep going. So I would look for Marduber Mondays tomorrow. We'll all sesh together then. Jeep, do you got anything for us, brother? Got anything?
No, man. Just thanks for having me on and let me hang out with you guys.
Oh yeah,
we really appreciate having you, and we appreciate you being back in the States, and we appreciate everything that you did for us while you were gone, brother.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thanks.
And with that, guys, I am going to say big shout out to Marduber, a big shout out to Lefty's Tent, another big shout out to the entire group here that joined us today, the American One, Fumador, Your Boy, Roy Boy, Doobie 2 in chat there, and Jeep, UCG, Green Diamonds. Thanks for making it. Thanks for making it a show today, guys. Sorry it's only 1 hour, but I'm glad that everybody that was able to tune in and everybody that gets to see this gets to enjoy another SciEnts Sundays. And we are out, guys. Thanks.
everybody out there, keep growing, keep smoking, and keep knocking prohibition in the ass. Peace out.